Jesus' opposition to strict laws, the tale of the adulterous woman. Women in the cultural and social milieu of Jesus' day had many obstacles and limitations. They were frequently viewed as the property of males and had little control over their own lives and choices. Due to the belief that marital faithfulness was necessary for maintaining societal and familial security, women who were accused of adultery faced especially harsh penalties. This was the location of a fascinating event that happened in Jerusalem on the Feast of Tabernacles. A woman who was accused of adultery was brought before Jesus as the religious elders watched with severe expressions, and the multitude moaned. The law of Moses said that she may lose her life for this infraction. Wearing spotless garments, the Pharisees and scribes looked to Jesus for a rebuke to support their stringent application of the law. Jesus, nevertheless, gave an unexpected response. He bent over and started writing on the ground, putting the problem out of his mind for the moment. This action got everyone's attention and set the stage for an important chapter in Jesus' life and teachings. In the face of unrelenting human justice, the parable of the adulterous woman and Jesus' act of writing on the ground has endured as a timeless representation of divine comprehension, forgiveness, and mercy. Jerusalem in the first century was a hive of political and theological unrest, in addition to being a thriving, culturally diverse metropolis. Roman authority over the Jewish people fueled their desire for a messianic rescuer. Jewish religious law established social customs, rituals, and standards of behavior. The scribes took on the role of self-appointed defenders of this law. Their interpretation frequently becomes strict and legalistic, emphasizing obedience on the outside rather than comprehending the underlying meaning of the rule. The adulterous woman was presented before Jesus in this instance as a pawn in a struggle for dominance and control inside the religion. One of the most significant holidays in the Jewish calendar was Sukkot, also known as the Feast of Tabernacles. It honored the Israelites' desert trek following their release from Egypt, which served as a metaphor for God's presence among his people. Jews erected makeshift booths, known as Sukkot, and held religious rituals and sacrifices in the Jerusalem temple during this 7-day celebration. In this joyous occasion, Jesus is set up for a trap by the scribes and Pharisees. They brought a lady who had committed adultery before him, drawing a large audience to see what was happening. Their intention was to trap Jesus into a precarious situation by making him seem callous if he disapproved of Moses' rule, which called for stoning the adulteress. If he disagreed with the law, he may be charged with disobeying religious customs. Rather than go right into the argument, Jesus made a small but meaningful gesture. He took a moment to reflect as he bent over and started writing on the ground. This action pulled attention away from the current conversation and encouraged reflection and introspection. Even though it's still unclear what he wrote, the act alone sent a strong sense of contemplation and meditation. Jesus arose and stated, "Let him who is without sin among you be the first to throw a stone," while the multitude waited for him to respond. The accusers' consciences were punctured by this comment. They walked out one by one, carrying a lot of shame. The lady was then spoken to by Jesus compassionately, who said, "Go and sin no more, neither do I condemn you." With the help of these words, she was able to break free from the bonds of her past and find forgiveness. The story asks us to consider how we feel about mercy and judgment. It serves as a reminder to see past outward manifestations and see the humanity within every person. Rather than merely criticizing and writing off other people, the narrative of the unfaithful woman encourages us to seek reconciliation and exercise forgiveness. Understanding this biblical story helps us live more empathetic lives and with greater authenticity in our religion.